Let me tell you about my show. Wednesday nights. And here we go. It's the rule of three with a touch of Basco. And like the Joker says, and here we go. It's Wednesday night and it's 9 o'clock. Click on the thumbnail, it's about to get hot. We get 3 different questions in only 3 minutes. It ain't for the scared, it ain't for the timid. Some will like us and some just don't. A lot will back us and some just won't. It don't matter with the Khaos crew. We specialize in making things do what they do. So sit back, chill, and enjoy the show with me, Chris, Guy Scar, and Nzo.
Fire, peace. 9 o'clock, Wednesday nights. Don't miss it. Check us out.
And here we go.
Yes, indeed. Here we go. Dang it, I just remembered. I don't think I got the last couple tweets out. Oh, well, let's see here. We'll go here real quick and make sure it does get out. What's going on, everyone? I am Chris Knight. This is Khaos Central and the rule of three different opinions, possibly 3 minutes and 3 topics, guys. That's how we do it. And then if you stay till the end, the final 5. Make sure those of you who are in the chat, I see G Major and I see Commander Data. Make sure you guys grab that link up above and share it out on your favorite social media. I'm going to have to tweet this out. But with that said, let's go ahead and go around the panel really quick. I got the 2 guys that are always with me, Hans and we'll start off. Tell them, what's going on?
What's up, guys? The channel Biggaford Entertainment. Just here on the rule of 3, about to get some great topics going. Later on tonight will be the OOC, so make sure you check that out. Thanks for having me, Chris. It's going to be a good one.
Indeed. All right. Danny, tell them about yourself and what's going on with you.
I am Danny, aka Comic Chat. My show's on Monday nights on Khaos Central channel. It is the name of the show is A Chaotic Conversation. Usually have 4 to 5 topics. Well, about 4 or 5 panelists on there that discuss different topics on whatever I feel like asking about. Sometimes they have input, sometimes they don't. But usually it's a good conversation. Last night we were on Nzo's show, Khaos Lives, which was equally as good, and I think tonight will be the same. Sunday night, it will be the last episode of the this season 1 of What If. Episode was good. I enjoyed it. Just got off a stream discussing it and looking forward to Sunday. So I'm ready for the show tonight.
All right, guys. All right. Give me just a second.
Danny.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people didn't like it. It's gonna be one of those shows.
I heard Lunga, and I ain't heard what Yellow, but I heard Lunga, but I ain't no problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
Neither.
All right.
It tied it up nice and neat to me. So
me too.
All right, guys. Let's see here. We're going to go ahead and do this thing. This is how we do it. We got a wheel of topics. We got the timer up. We got all that good stuff up. And, so make sure we're sharing that sound and bring up that wheel. Here we go. Topic number 1. That wheel. With 2021 almost over, do you think next year we will be completely back to normal, or do you think it will be more of the same old, same old?
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go ahead and put this in here. Do that real quick. Okay, put that in the chat, and I'll bring up that timer. Who wants to start?
I'll go.
All right. 3 minutes on the board. Nzo, go right ahead.
I'm kind of hoping that it's not going to be the same old, right? Because there's a lot of people getting vaccinated now. So people are either they're feeling more comfortable to go out and do their things. But people keep talking about these other variants and stuff like that. And it's like, people are upset for people that haven't been vaccinated. It's just really weird. So I think that certain things may go back to normal, but I don't think it will ever completely. We're never going to get rid of this COVID stuff. So for me, I'm just like, I don't know, man. I wish to say it would, but right here in Canada, you have to be vaccinated if you want to go to the movies or go to an outing. And I believe there's a lot of other workplaces now that are starting to say it's mandatory for you to be vaccinated to work there. And I think if the numbers don't completely drop, then they're just going to keep adding more stuff to the list and more things we can and can't do without being vaccinated. And you had another question in there that I really wish would come up too as well, because I kind of do think it's just comfort. You know what I mean? Comfort to people, make them feel safe. But at the end of the day, if you get vaccinated, you can still catch the virus. You just won't get as sick, but you're still going to catch it. So I don't know. I really don't know. I'm inclined to say I'm hoping it gets better, but at the same time, I think we're going to be going through the same stuff, social distancing. Um, Places are still not at 100% capacity, so I don't see that changing anytime soon. It's a long year, but if by 6 months everything's not back to full, then yeah, we're going to be stuck in this for a little bit longer. Um, at the end of the day, like I said, I hope it does go back to normal. I really do, because I like to go out and do stuff. I don't want to be restricted to the things that I can do, but I also don't want to be forced to do something I don't want to do either, right? Not against getting the vaccination. I just don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Not that I'm skeptical about it or anything, but for me at this point now, it's like I feel like I'm being forced to do it if I want to go things, and I don't like being forced to do anything. If I do it, it's because I want to do it. When the H1N1 vaccination came out, the only reason why I got that is because my son's mother and my kid ended up getting it, and I just didn't want to be the only one that was in the house that didn't have it. So I said, all right, I'll get it as well. But for this one, I don't know, man. I just feel like if I can hold it out, I will. But to answer the question, I think it'll probably be more of the same for at least another year.
All right. Very good. And oh, look, we got some more people in the chat. I see Zach Holden's here. Thank you, Zach, for showing up. And we got David, LEG, and Master Swag King. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you, all of you. Make sure you share that link out up above and let everybody know we're live. I really do define normal. To define normal, I would say is if you want to wear a mask, you can, but you're not required to. If you walk into a place, they're not going to ask about your vaccination status. Things like that. I mean, that's what I would define normal. Something where there aren't conditions on what you're doing. Or maybe I should say there aren't conditions compared to normal things, like,
well, what I say normal is, I mean, back to like when before we had it, you know what I mean? No mask, no restrictions, no social distance, anything like that. I was wondering if you guys think we're going to get back to like that within a year.
All right. Well, yeah, very good. Danny, 3 minutes is on the board. First off, Nindroid, and I'm just going to say KB Gaming, because I'm not even going to try to say whatever that says. I am so sorry. But Danny, 3 minutes is on the board, and go.
Do I think we're gonna get back to normal like before the pandemic? I don't think that's gonna happen no time soon. I think we are evolving into the new normal, where we're gonna have to have some semblance of social distancing. People that feel uncomfortable with the mask, or businesses that feel uncomfortable with the mask, you may have to wear it. We may build up a resistance to it somewhat, but I think that right now, until we get used to it, because the flu is did take out several thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people a year, but we kind of live with that. I think we're going to have to. This is the new disease we're going to have to get used to, and once we get used to it, the numbers won't be as shocking and startling as they are now. Because eventually, when you live with something for so long, you tend to get used to it. So I think that will it go away off the face of the earth? I don't think it will, but I think we will get to a point where we're used to it. Um, and eventually, just like everything that evolves. At one point, the giraffe did not have a long neck; it was a short neck animal. But when the trees grew higher and they ate all the leaves off the trees, at the bottom of the tree, they had to they were going to starve. So when they had a baby or whatever next time, the necks were longer to accommodate um, the high branches to get food and nourishment. So the way they evolve, humans will evolve too. I'm not saying what time frame they're going to be. I'm not saying it's going to be a year, 2 years, 5 years. I don't know, but as long as we're living, we will evolve. Our immune systems will evolve to cope with this thing, or they will come up with some kind of vaccination that will totally protect us from it. I strongly believe in that. So will it happen in the next year? I don't foresee it happening in the next year. Um, do I want to see it in my lifetime? I most certainly do. So I'm hoping that the scientists that we have here on the planet can can work um, together and get this pandemic under some kind of control or totally eradicated. But the next year, I don't foresee that happening. Maybe somewhere between 5 to 10 years, possibility. But I just think right now we live in a new normal at this particular point in time and in history. So that's the question. I definitely do not think next year we will be out of the woods, so to speak, with this pandemic. We're still going to have to social distance. Still going to have to take the vaccinations if you choose to do so, and we're still going to have to wear the mask for those that don't feel comfortable without it, or whatever the case may be. So that is it.
All righty. Okay, let me stop that. You guys can hear that, can't you?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool. I'm just double checking. All right, guys. Will it be back to normal? That's the key term, normal. And like Gonzo said, I'm not really thinking we're going to get there yet. And Danny brought it up, until there's something that's like this guarantee, or it's like the flu vaccine. Yeah, 60% of the time you might get it, but it'll help you fight it. Really, I think that's what we're looking at here. So it's going to be like a new type of flu. And once the world realizes that, once it starts just becoming a part of the general way of life, and I hate to say it like that, but that's kind of what's going to happen. It's a virus. It's not going anywhere. So once the world figures out that they're just going to have to live with it, and they figure out that way that it works and it's not killing people, that's when the normal will kick back in. And I mean, I don't think we're that far away. There's some stuff coming up. There's other topics that we have that might go into this further. But as far as normal goes, and next year, no. I think we got a kind of a taste of it there for a minute here in the States. I don't know about you guys up in Canada, because I think you guys have been pretty much foobarred on the whole thing since day one in March of 2020. But I think that we got a taste of it. And I've heard again that the numbers are going down, so that there's some places that are starting to talk again about getting rid of mask mandates and things like that. And that's when it starts to feel normal again. You walk around, maybe you keep your distance from the person who's sniffling or sneezing, which I guess, in the wintertime we all did anyway. So, but there's still going to be that problem of you're going to have that guy that wants you to wear it or wants you to have the vaccine. I mean, businesses in the United States are able to do whatever and set whatever stipulations. And until that kind of goes away, until they don't ask, because nobody asks if you got the flu vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody asks, do you have the flu? I think that's where we have to get, when people don't care anymore if you've got it or if you don't, because medicine has done enough to basically say the chances of you having something so bad that you're going to die from it That's what's scaring people right now is the death of it. And it's not really even that like high of a mortality rate. It's just nasty and it's new. So yeah, exactly, just enormous. Show me your papers. But it's that thing of, I guess it's society around us. Some of us, when they allowed us to take the mask off, I took it off. I had been vaccinated. It's not going to change how I am. I don't want to wear the mask. I just wear it because I'm required to. As soon as people let go of that, oh my God, factor of it, I think we start settling down and people get a little more less anxious. So 3 minutes to talk about this together. I mean, do you guys think that I'm right about this? It's going to be like the new flu, and just at a certain time of year, you'll get your booster or you'll get your flu shot if you want it. And that in general, medicine and immunity will kick in eventually, and the body will just be like, it's a bad cold or something. Do you think that's kind of what it's going to be like?
I'm hoping so.
If you believe in evolution, then it's going to happen. Because, like I said earlier, the example I gave was very crude, but more or less when something gets to a situation and the alternative is death or adapt, then that's when evolution kicks in. So something will happen, something will change within the body, or something will, I don't know, maybe something we don't even see until someone performs autopsy and say, hey, this 10 years ago we didn't have this particular piece on the lung, but now the lung has some kind of filtering system organ or something. I mean, I believe that happens. I mean, it happens with different things. So, and if you believe in evolution, where we were once monkeys and evolving the men, then why not believe if that's what you believe? So,
well, I look at it that they got a pill now that they're working on getting out there, and then if you can just take a pill, and it's like a 60% effectiveness at like a vaccine, almost is what it is. When you start talking about that, they've got coldies, they got the flu, the flu stuff that you put in hot water and stuff. Once that becomes a ready, normal thing, it just gets put into the normal vernacular, the normal life stuff, and that's when it becomes less and less. I mean, because we weren't around in the 1900s when flu became a thing, that Spanish flu. And we don't know how they were running around or how bad it was. And back then, people probably just said, "Here, yeah, give me a shot. I don't want this." It's a little different now. People think a little more for themselves than they did back then. There's more misinformation because of internet. There's more information because of internet, and you got to sift through it. So there's a lot of time that it takes now. It's not like back then when they just said do it. So it's going to take time, and I was hoping by the end of this year it'd be the time, but it isn't. Hopefully by the end of next year is what I think. I would say the end of 2022, 2023, we might be more normal. Nzo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree with you.
All right. Very good.
Your mic sounds a little off, Nzo.
Does it?
Mm-hmm.
Check and see if it's using the right one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's using my Yeti.
Somebody just cut a fan or something off, because you sound clearer now than you did earlier.
Oh, that's what you heard? Yeah, it was my fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's go to the next topic. Let's find out what it is, guys. Thank you, everybody, being here. Grab that link up above and share it out with everybody out there. Let them know we're live. Let's get some more people in here, guys. Don't forget the final five, guys. The final five factors fiction at the end. Because, man, we got one figured out today, and we got some good ones, I think, a little bit later. Marvel Studios is releasing 5 movies in 2023, setting a new MCU record. Do you think this can or will cause superhero movie fatigue? Can or will? Move that, put that into the chat. And who would like to go first on this one?
Go
Danny.
first.
3 minutes. Go.
I think if the movies are bad, it will cause a, I won't say fatigue, but it'll cause a dislike for it to be kind of like how Transformers. Like now, when you just mention the word Transformers, and like, so if Kevin Feige takes drinks out of the Michael Bay filmmaking cup, which I don't think he will, but if he decides to drink from that cup and he produced 5 bad movies in 2023, then yes, there will be some superhero fatigue. But as long as the movies are good, or at least on the same level they are now, of course there can be some we like more than others. I don't think it'll be superhero fatigue because it's a continuing story. One thing about MCU, they do a lot of continuity and stuff. You can't necessarily see this now, but then 2 or 3 movies, you be like, oh, that makes sense. That's case in point. What if I didn't see what the first few episodes did until I saw this episode of them? Like, oh, so this is that. So to me, I like that is what I like about it because it tied all the past episodes to this last thing, and we saw how they all connect. Kevin Feige, I think, is a master of that, where you see something now and you think you have hypothesize, well, I think it's just this and this. But then sometimes your hypothesis is right and you guessed it right, and then sometimes you're totally off base. But the fact that he has you guessing and then how he ties or weave things together is definitely a plus. Definitely what keeps, I think, MCU fans coming back. So, and like I don't know, there's some of us that's not going to like it. That is your right. Not saying it's not your right to not like it, or think it should be better, or think it should be this or that, whatever. But as a whole, I am happy with the product. I know people love to say MCU has found this formulaic style, but hey, formulaic is working. Formulaic is averaging $1 billion movies pre-pandemic. So I don't give a shit what you think. If I'm making almost $1 billion every movie, then I'm doing something right, or at least in my opinion, I think I am. We knew from day one that MCU was going to cherry pick some of their stuff. It's not going to be all comic book accurate, but they're going to take some essential things to it and twist the story up. Because in the story, Tony Stark is an alcoholic. Did not see any signs of that in the movie. I saw him have one drink, I think, in Iron Man. All other stuff he didn't, but he's a raving alcoholic in the movie. So they're going to take some things, positive things, some negative things. They're going to do their own little twist. A lot of people didn't like Professor Hulk. I like Professor Hulk. But that is what the MCU does. They take some things that we like, change it up, and make their own flavor, own storyline. So I don't think it's going to be hero fatigue as long as the movies are good. If they're bad, then they may be in trouble.
All right. Let's go back here really quick. So it said, I was looking forward to Venom. I loved it, and I can't wait for Dune. Other than that, I have no desire to see anything else. Let's see here. And then Justin Norman also says, I'm already fatigued. I didn't think Venom was as MCU. And like I said, I think that Venom 2 is actually the move towards that tie-in with the MCU. And then David says, saw Black Widow today, not bad. Villains suck. Red Guardian, geez. Yeah. Okay, yeah, for sure.
Flash movie is worth seeing. I think it is. I think we all think it's worth seeing. If you like the first one, then you're gonna like this one. It's much better than the first one.
Yeah. All right. 3 minutes on Zo. Time starts now.
Well, first off, I just found out today that there are actually supposed to be 5 movies in 2022 as well. So that's 10 movies in the next 2 years. Again, I'm like Danny, I don't believe that if the movies are good, there won't be fatigue, right? Because we've heard that so many times, when a movie comes out and it flops, it's like, oh, look, movie superhero fatigue is kicking in. And then Marvel puts out a movie and it makes $1 billion and then it's crickets, right? So for me, I think just the movies just have to be good. People are still clamoring for these superhero movies. They want to see good ones. They want to see what happens in the next phase. They want to see who the new villain is, like who the big bad is. You know, there's Kang already that's supposed to come in, and he's supposed to be a beast, right? Hopefully, anyways. No telling how many movies he's gonna be in or how he's gonna affect the timeline. Then we got the multiverse of madness where we got Spider-Man coming into this and other Spider-Man, supposedly Spider-Man villains coming in, maybe Venom coming in. So I think what they're doing is they're keeping people invested in these movies, especially with the fact now that they're going to be trying to cross them over in some particular way, whichever way they do it. Whether it's Venom that comes into the MCU and he's only in the Spider-Man movies, or he's in like MCU movies, or if it's just to get Tom Holland back into the Sonyverse. Whatever they're doing is causing a big buzz, man. Because from what I hear is when that end credit scene popped off in the theater, crowds went crazy, like started screaming and going nuts. So I'm definitely interested in what they're planning on doing. I'm excited to see them. Again, at the end of the day, there's not all the movies are going to be a hit. It's just not. Not all movies are going to be good. You know, there's going to be some where we're like, this one wasn't so good. But at the end of the day, it's all about the whole bigger picture, right? Phase one, phase two, phase three. I think that every phase had movies that weren't that good. But the fact that they were building for something and the fact that they've had so many good movies, people were able to like, oh yeah, well, I can forgive this one. I can forgive that one. It's going to be the same thing going ahead forward, you know. Shang-Chi's doing pretty well. Black Widow did well. Surprisingly, Shang-Chi has been smoking Black Widow, but I think it's just going to keep going up and up the more movies that come out because more people are going to be interested in going to the theaters again and wanting to get out. So I do think that these movies are going to they're going to do the same numbers that they've been doing, and I don't think there's fatigue setting in. And I think after the next 2 years, we'll probably get back to the 3 movies a year. But for right now, because of what happened, they have a backlog of movies that they got to get out. So I'm okay with it.
Well, we talked about that at the one point is that
Mhm.
how long do you hold on to movies? Because you can't hold on to them all for a year. And literally that's where we
Right.
were at. We're just now starting to see the movie theaters somewhat getting back to let's do things normal, only at theaters. We're starting to hear that, which is funny because if you think about it, for years you didn't hear that.
Mhm.
And now you're starting to hear only in theaters on August 8th or whatever. I mean, which is kind of interesting because, that's one of those things I think from the early 90s, late 80s, like 80s and before, that you heard every day, only in theaters, and
Yeah.
it's like I started hearing that again. I was like, what's different about this? I was like, oh, I know what it is. You don't hear that anymore. It's interesting.
Mhm.
Okay. Will there be fatigue? Only if every single last one for about 4 or 5 of these movies are complete crap. Bond, Jurassic Park, what else? I mean, Star Trek, and I know I don't even get into the new old Trek stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. Enough people liked the new Trek that it was going. The only reason why they stopped was because what's his name? The guy that played Pavel Chekhov died. That's the only reason why they had to stop because he's like, well, what do we do now? But these are things, series, superhero movies, anything like that. As long as they're not shit after shit, they're fine. People will buy it. And the fact is when we were growing up, people like Anzo, Danny, and myself, when we were growing up, it was every once in a while you got a Superman movie, every once in a while you got a Batman movie. That's about it. Now and if you wanted to see anything other than that, you got your cartoons. That was what you watched, was your cartoons to get your Spider-Man and your Aquaman, your Super Friends, whatever. I mean, that's what we had for our extra stuff. Now we get to see Hawkeye, we get to see Black Widow, we get to see, Iron Man, Superman, Aquaman, even Wonder Woman. All this stuff's now on the big screen. And our our inner kids are just going like, oh my God, I can't believe they did this with this. And I mean, even if they're not great movies, if they're good enough, I think people, that's an inner kid thing. And then you take your kids or your grandkids or whatever, and the next thing you know, they're into it. I just think that there's enough stories out there. There's enough characters. I mean, we haven't even scratched the surface with DC or Marvel on what they could bring into it. I mean, really, Martian Manhunter has been shown now. You have, no, I'm trying to think of all the other ones. I mean, just, Doctor Doom, the Fantastic Four can be rebooted. And I have more faith in the Fantastic Four being in hands of this Marvel than before. X-Men is going to be rebooted. I mean, you go through all this stuff and think about they've scratched the surface on X-Men when it was out. They gave us teasers to some of these people. They could do a whole different X-Men group with none of the ones we know. I don't think they will, but they could. And they still, I mean, there's so many characters out there. There's so many different stories. And like Danny said, it's a continuous thing. And much like I said, Bond is different from movie to movie to movie. The character's the same, but the what's going on is a little different. And that's why people go back and watch those movies. As long as you keep it up. I mean, listen, again, Jurassic Park has been making money. And the last two movies pretty much were the same movies. I mean, you don't even have to have originality for a movie to work. So 3 minutes to talk about this together, guys. I don't see it. Go ahead.
There's certain IPs that no matter how bad a movie they make, people are going to see it because they got such a strong fan base. Case in point, Star Wars. Last 3 Star Wars movies, some people argue I've heard everybody say that I talked to, are the worst 3 out of the whole Star Wars series. Out of the 11 movies, the last 3 are the worst. In age groups our age, younger groups like Enjoyed and Alternator may speak differently, but most of the ones that were there from day one to day now say they were the worst 3. Predator, the last 3 were the worst 3. If you go to Michael Bay's Transformers, I don't totally hate all of them. I hate the way they did some of the characters because we are looking through the lens of that's not our Megatron or that's not our Galvatron. I know I am. When they did the Galvatron, I think in the 3rd one, I was like, man, that's just not him because he was such a badass in the cartoon movie. Then when we see it done differently, but we got to realize that at the same time, these movies are trying to get new viewers. They're trying to get new fans. So in some instances, we have to give them a pass, not a complete pass, but like, okay, I see where you're coming from. But I don't see this superhero fatigue because it's uncaptured the imagination of so many people, old and young, that even if they do get a bad one, like look at DC, Suicide Squad, all that stuff. I don't care for it, but the next superhero movie they make, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be there.
Well, we've discussed it that the Warner Brothers stuff, the DC stuff, Warner Brothers is the one that sabotaged it. If they had just stuck with the story and not worried about the numbers, it probably would have caught up with Marvel by now, or at least been maybe not the numbers exact, but they would have been able to do it. And they could have still done stuff like Joker and things like that because Elseworld stories are perfect. Look what Marvel did. They did the what if stuff. I mean, if they want to do something different, they can. They just need to stay the course. That's the only reason why Warner Brothers is having a problem. It's not because those movies are complete crap. Justice League is the exception out of that, the one we got in the theaters. But we know the problem that was. But yeah,
if they would have stole some of Marvel's formulaic, that word, if they would have stole some of that and had continuity between 1 and 2, but there's no continuity other than Justice League between Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman. There's nothing. Take out BVS and Justice League, there's nothing tying them together. But Marvel, there's always something tying them together. So if they just do that, Flashpoint is their chance to say, okay, here's the reset button. Let's do it over again. Will they take advantage of that? I don't know if they'll do it or not.
Oh, they probably will, but they'll they'll rewrite everything, bring it back to a 0 point, and then they'll start up again, and then they'll screw it up again. As long as they got the same people in there, they have yet to ever figure out how to just keep your foot on the gas, keep going. A phrase from racing, if you like stock car racing, guys, lots of times the pit manager or one of the spotters, when they see a wreck, they'll tell you just stay on the pedal. Because if you stay straight and stay on the pedal, even though it looks like there's a ton of a mess of cars in front of you, they see a better view, and they can say, if you just stay on the gas, you're going to go through this mess and you're going to get through it. If Warner Brothers would listen to that instead of slamming on the brakes, they wouldn't have all these catastrophes they're constantly bringing themselves up in. They're their own worst enemy. That's the only reason why those are the way they are.
They can't stay the course. They'll be doing something in midstream why there should not be a Robert Pattinson Batman out when you had arguably the best Batman that's ever put on a cow in Ben Affleck. So why not just ride that pony till he can't do it no more? But I don't understand. The Robert Pattinson Batman totally has me. I haven't figured that out yet.
I don't know. All right.
Makes no sense.
Last topic. What's going on, King David? Good to see you.
What up, King?
You guys were seducing Brittany, really? What King David said last. All right. With so many super teams in sports today, do you think that there should be a rule in the NBA or NFL and MLB, I don't care what, that limits the number of top talent or number one picks to prevent teams from creating a super team? And no, you do not know whose question this is. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is my question, just so you know.
I knew it now when you said that.
Well, of course, kids are like, well, it's not mine. It's not Anzo's. Oh, my God. Who's this? All right. Go ahead, Danny. 3 minutes.
With so many super teams in sports today, do you think there should be a rule in NBA and NFL that limits the number of top talent number one picks to prevent teams from creating a super team? No, I do not. And the reason why is because for so many years in football, baseball, NBA, the organizations control the players' fates. And when you start something, I guess it is, you have something in place. But as time evolves, evolution occurs, things change. At one time, basketball, I'm going to speak mainly about basketball. I'll speak a little about football. Basketball was a big man's game. You bring the ball half court, you pass it into the post, the big man beats person down, it wins championships. That used to be the game. There were high flyers and dunkers on the wings, but mainly you got a big man, you get a dominant big man, a good point guard, feed the big man. That's how you win championships. Big man defends the goal. That used to be the game. In football, if I'm not mistaken, way back in the 70s and 80s, it was a running back league. I mean, running backs, you had a good running back, Earl Campbell, Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, John Riggins, Tony Dorsett. Those were the big names back then. Franco Harris. You get on the ball, they're gonna put you on their back, and they're gonna carry it. Now, times have changed. In the NFL now, it's a passing league. The wide receivers are the prima donnas, and some of the tight ends. So that game progressed, evolution. In basketball, now it's a guard. You got guards now, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, some of the other players have revolutionized the three-point. It was not that important or that big of a shot during Michael Jordan in the 90s era. But as time and the game evolved, it's now a shooter's league. Guards are king now. Big men are way of the damn dodo. Very, very few dominant big men in the NBA now. Also, these players now, because of the collective bargaining agreement, they're allowed to talk to each other and say, hey, I want to play with Chris. I want to play with Lonzo. Because when I'm playing over here with Billy Bob and Sally Sue, they ain't doing shit. But if I'm getting with Chris, who's knocking out the park, making threes, I'm playing with Lonzo, who's doggone hitting threes and stuff. When I'm hitting threes, he can win a championship. And we don't need these coaches and teams to try and show us like we want to do it. We can do it ourselves. We can make the max money. We can make these deals. So I don't have no problem with it. If it's within the rules, if they're not breaking the rules, I have zero problem with it. Now, if they're breaking rules and doing something that shouldn't be done, then okay, don't do that. I'm a big proponent of following the rules. If you follow the rules and it's within the guidelines, I have no problem with it at all.
Okay, very good, very good. And Anzo, I think, is going to start. Let's see here. I'm using
I'm ready.
Great Kreskin, and I believe his first words are going to be abso-fucking-lutely. Go.
Fucking right, they should be 100%. If my fucking team ain't benefiting from none of this shit, then yes, they need to limit this goddamn shit. They need to limit the amount of superstars that can be on one team. They need to limit the amount of picks that you can do to get a superstar, right? Because if a team, well, it's kind of hard for a team to be under the cap, but I mean, even if they're under the cap and they can get rid of a few players and then get one of these superstar players and build a superstar team, then I don't want to see that. I really don't want to see that. I am sick and tired of watching the Lakers go to the finals every fucking year. I am done with it. Actually, I'm more done with seeing LeBron James go to the finals every fucking year. Like for 10 fucking years straight, it's been LeBron James in the goddamn finals. Enough already. Like for real, sooner or later, KD's going to be on fucking Nets and they ain't going to win. And he's going to say, hey, LeBron, you know what? Let's team up. And then they're going to get a fucking Kawhi Leonard to go over there because they ain't going to be able to beat him. So you're going to have LeBron, KD, and fucking Kawhi Leonard all on the same team with Antonio Davis. And that's your starting fucking five. Oh, out of point guard in there. Let's say Steph. Right? Steph say he can't win in Golden State anymore, so he want to go to the Lakers. So you got Steph, KD, LeBron, fucking Kawhi, all on the same team. No, sir. No, I do not want to see that. I really don't. Now, what they're doing now is in the rules, yes, and I do know that the owners also are cutthroat too. It's like, yo, we can trade you whenever we want to and stuff like that. I get all of that. But at the end of the day, I liked when Jordan used to play because Jordan never wanted to team up with anybody. He wanted to beat them. Isaiah, he never wanted to team up with anybody either. He wanted to beat them. Larry Bird wanted to beat them. Magic Johnson wanted to beat them. Fucking Charles Barkley, who's never won a championship, wanted to beat them. It's only at the end of his career when he started ring chasing. That's when, and if you're at the end of your career and you want to do that, no problem. But if you in your prime, you should want to be the best and beat the best. And that's the basketball that I liked. You know what I mean? Like Chris said, it's parity. When you have more superstars or one or two superstars on a bunch of teams, then you never know what's going to happen. And that's the type of basketball I want to see. But I'm sitting here and the basketball season not even started. And I bet we can all predict, even though it may not happen, but we all can predict who we think is going to be in the finals. Like we'll all have the same teams: Lakers, Nets, Lakers, Nets, Lakers, Nets. Maybe someone might throw in a Bucks because they won it, but they're not going to be there. Or they might throw in the Clippers, but it's going to be Lakers, Bucks, Lakers, Nets. We all know that. Fuck that. Fuck that.
All right. Yeah. Should there be a rule? Well, yes and no. I mean, I understand the player empowerment and stuff like that. But if you go with what I said, and the reason why I put that, the superstars and I'm trying to remember exactly how I worded it, the number of top talent or superstars or number one picks. The problem with the number one pick statement, and I purposely put it in there because of it, is because if you're a crap team, you're going to build a bunch of number ones on your team. So what's the final? And when I mean number one, I mean you get the first pick. And it's happened before, folks. There are teams out there like the Cleveland Browns, I think, got the top pick for like 3 or 4 straight years. Was it something like that? I don't know. And when that happens, you could theoretically say, as long as they're smart with their cap room and everything else, that, they could build a big team. But a rule is difficult, because how do you word that rule, and what does that rule entail, and then you get into salaries and all this other stuff, and so for a rule, no. But in the sense of sportsmanship, I would think that teams would start saying, well, you know what, we don't want to be the team. We don't want to be the one that just runs over everybody. And I know when I say that, people are like, but if you're a team, you want to win. Yeah, but, that's like saying, look, we're blank team and we just went against a high school team. We won. Well, of course you won. You're supposed to win because you're an NFL team or you're an NBA team. Every year, the Kansas City Royals, for instance, will play their farm team in Omaha, Nebraska, which is a AAA team for MLB. And every year, for a long time, though, the AAA team would beat our major league team, and people would be like, "Oh my God, what the hell's wrong with these people?" Mm-hmm. You should, as a team, want to prove you're the best, but not because of all these people you have to use to do it. There's a part of me that wants to say yes, do it. There's a part of me that wants to say no, don't do it. I think in the spirit of sportsmanship and parity, yes. I think, and what I know leagues would do with a rule like that, the answer is no, because you give too much power to the leagues, like the NFL, for instance, and they just decimate things. People don't have a chance to, get their word in and stuff like that. So I say no. As nice as it sounds to do it, I just don't know the logistics of doing it. Let's talk about it together. I know. Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely fucking not, Flash. Never. I will never join the Lakers bandwagon. I will sooner join a shitty Bobcat team bandwagon before I ever jump on that Lakers shit.
Who's that, Charlotte?
Never. Yeah, Charlotte Bobcats. Yeah. Charlotte Bobcats, yeah. Never. The Lakers will always be an enemy to me. They were battling the Spurs for like 10 years, if not longer. So they will always be the enemy to me. Always. That team sucks ass, and I will never be a fan.
Interesting. I mean, I know Danny thinks I'm full of shit when I say it. I don't like people returning year after year. Of course, I'm a Chiefs fan. Of course, if they go year after year, I'm going to be like, yeah, all right. But after a while, you're sitting there going, my God, what's the point? I mean,
you lie stink.
Both of y'all.
No, hold on. I never said if the Spurs go to the championship every year, I'm good with it. You know what I mean? The Steelers go to championship every year. I'm good with it.
Maybe it's the fact that I have two teams here in town that the Royals went 25 years or no, 40 years. I'm sorry, 40 years in between their or 30 years, whatever it was, 30 years for the baseball to get a championship again. And then it was like 60 some odd years for the Chiefs. And there was a part of me that felt so much better than if I had a team that was winning it year in and year out, because then I'm sitting there going like, well, of course we won. Why wouldn't we win? It's like the Yankees for a while there. Do you think anybody in that city believed that the Yankees weren't going to win a World Series, or at least be there? There's a part of me that enjoys and hates at the same time looking at the Chiefs and going like, man, I just don't know, because look at this. They got this problem. My team isn't perfect. I don't feel like they got it in the bag. I like the feeling of parity, that any team can beat any team. And, sometimes you get that team out there for 2 or 3 seasons that just, you don't even look at the schedule. When you see their name, you're like, oh, screw it. And I don't like that. I just don't. I want to feel like, I don't know, maybe they will win. Maybe we will win. Maybe we won't. I like that feeling, that parity. There's something that makes it more exciting to not know if it's a guarantee or not. And I know nothing's a guarantee, but it's more of a guarantee with some of these teams, I feel. Come on, the Nets and the Lakers. There's nobody, like Nzo said, that's going to have anybody but them on that list at the end of the year. When you talk about the NCAA, you see Kansas, Duke, North Carolina. There's certain teams you expect it. I mean, everybody fills out their bracket, and anytime those guys come out, they're like, oh, they move on. And it's when it gets down to like the final 8 that it becomes difficult, because then you're going like, well, who could be that? Well, this team could be this team, and so on and so forth. But it's still the first like freaking 20 games of the NCAA tournament. If it's got Duke, Carolina, any of those teams in it, they just get moved on in a person's bracket. They just get moved right along.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You know what time it is, right, guys?
Yes, sir.
You know what time it is. It is time for the final 5, fact or fiction. And oh my God, guys, do we have a doozy for you today. First off, let's bring this one up. Final 5, fact or fiction, question number 4 from week 3. What if has reached its halfway point? There are strong suggestions that they may connect several, if not all, the episodes. Fact or fiction, what if will connect several, if not all, of the episodes, creating a giant what if universe. And it just so happens that I have the tallies here. This is how I keep it, guys. And this was, as you see, question number 4 from week 3. And in question number 4 of week 3, I see we have a fact by Danny, a fact by Nzo, and a fact by me. That means our score is all 3 of us get a point for being right about that one thing. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to delete that off of all of ours. Very good. I think we all kind of knew they were going to do that. But hey, I'm going to bring up that's for week 4, and that's week 3. Sorry, I got to go through all my freaking things. Here we go. This will be our tally, and I will be giving tally for Annie, Nzo, and myself. So we'll save that and call it final 5 tally. Boom. There you go. All right. That's decided. Now we'll move on to week 4. All right. Here we go. Week 4, question number 1, final 5, fact or fiction, question number 1. Canada is 72% fully vaccinated, and the United States is 56% fully vaccinated. You guys are overachievers, I swear. Come on.
You guys have a bigger population, so
that's true, too. Okay, so the United States is 56% fully vaccinated. The WHO and CDC claim that once these numbers reach up to 90%, because it's anywhere from 70 to 90% is most of the numbers I'm seeing, we'll reach herd immunity. Fact or fiction, will the U.S. and Canada reach herd immunity? That's the question. Will they do it? Fact or fiction?
Fiction.
Fiction from Danny.
I'm gonna say fact.
Fact.
Yeah,
I didn't put a time limit on this, so I'm just wondering how long that they'll follow this. But I'm gonna say fiction too, because I think I'm looking at that 90% number, because 90% seems to be
That's a lot of people. I don't
the
foresee
big
many
number
people.
that they're almost guaranteeing stuff with.
Best scenario, I say 75.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 75. K-Dots, Chris, did this what if episode suck? I think it did. I will talk about it on Sunday, but I had some issues with it, but I don't think it sucked per se. But everything's different for everybody.
I don't know what people be looking for in some of the stuff. No,
I don't know. Question number, let's go back. Question number 2. Fact or fiction? Daniel Craig's final Bond film is out. It's time to start discussing who the next Bond will be. Head Bond producer Barbara Broccoli says the time is right to bring in a non-Caucasian Bond. Fact or fiction? Will the next Bond be a non-Caucasian actor?
Fact.
Fact.
My heart is saying fact, but my head is saying fiction.
Okay. So which is it?
I'm gonna go with the heart. I'm gonna say fact.
Fact. You know, I could be different on this because I keep on thinking I'm hearing Henry Cavill again, and I just don't see him doing it. But God, when the guy like that gets named, it's like, because I'm not hearing any major name that's a non-Caucasian actor like that's really being talked about. But
that dude that Danny keeps talking about, from was it Bridgetown?
Bridgerton.
Yeah, I just seen an article where he's leading the race for the next one.
And I've seen that too. But
he got the look.
I am going to say fact though, because I want there to be a change. And if you know anything about this movie, there's a chance to change it.
You got to learn some fighting style though, because Bond was kind of.
Oh, trust me. If they start next year, if they pick him next year and they wait 2 to 3 years to make the movie, they're going to get him in shape.
You look more like a pretty boy than an actual brawler.
Oops. All right. Final 5 fact or fiction question number 3. Sharon Carter actor Emily Van Camp's character on The Resident, which is a medical drama, was killed off this week. She left so that she could focus on her family. But if Marvel came knocking, she wouldn't say no. Fact or fiction? Marvel will call for more Sharon Carter.
I'm gonna say fiction.
Interesting.
I'm gonna say fact because there's rumors that she's in Multiverse of Madness. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm gonna say fact. I think they will call on her again.
I am going to say fact also. I don't see how you give her the power broker, or I don't think she's a power broker, but I think either she's a Skrull or something. I don't see how you give her that prominent of a name at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier and not have her back for something. And if they bring her back, they're gonna have to flesh that all out, and I think that's gonna take some time. So I say
that movie's already made though, right?
Well, yeah, but they remember Kevin Feige doesn't always let all the cats out of the bag.
I was actually thinking Peggy Carter for a second there.
I was too.
Yeah, I was thinking Peggy Carter.
About Captain America girlfriend. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
all
me too.
Final 5 fact or fiction question number 4. Britney Spears' father has been fully removed from her conservatorship. She has said she wouldn't perform again until he was removed, but now says she is done with performing, period. Fact or fiction? And I don't know why I have the A in there. Oh, well. We will see Britney perform on stage again.
Fact.
Yeah, fact.
I say fact also. I mean, listen, I'm not saying she's stupid. I don't really know. I'm not saying she can't write a book and make millions of dollars. I'm not saying she can't do anything she wants to.
The question is kind of confusing because you ask this, the first answer should be fiction. But then you ask the question you're asking is, will we see Britney perform on stage again? That's the question you're asking?
Yeah. Fact or fiction is, will we see her again on stage? Okay. You said fact, I say fact, and Nzo says fact. I'm not saying she can't do any of that. It's just when your bread and butter is on stage, I just see that being the case. I just
when that money dies down, you better believe she's gonna be in Vegas or something.
There are people now I'm hearing on tour now that I ain't heard in tour in years, and because of this damn COVID. I'm like, huh? She on tour? What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And final 5 fact or fiction question number 5. The Batman director Matt Reeves says his movie will not connect with the movie Joker, but others have said that it does. Even though we may not see Joaquin Phoenix in it, fact or fiction, the Batman and Joker will be connected in some way.
Fact.
I'm gonna say fiction.
Oh, man. I wrote this and I've still been thinking about this one. Like I said, I don't think they'll show him Joaquin Phoenix, and I don't think that they'll ever really put the two together in a movie. But I think because it's more of an Elseworld story, I think it's a fact. I think they will have some connection in some way. So I'm going to say fact. And what's funny is Danny's the only one with two fictions. Oh, I think. Wait, what was number 3? Let's go back to number 3. I want to make sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And so everybody said fact. So, yeah. Okay. Well, guys, I got those locked in. I want to save this as final 5, week 4. And go in here. I got them in their own folders so we don't lose it. And again, another great show, I think. Some great questions. I want to thank everybody that was in the chat. We had a really good chat going there. Lots of great people. I'm glad you guys are showing up. Thank you very much. The support means the world to all of us. Remember, we have 3 shows every week, and I'll let Nzo and Danny talk about theirs. And we'll start with Nzo again. Nzo, tell everybody about yourself. Tell them about your shows. Tell them about tonight. After this show, I believe you have the OOC, right? Tell them about it right now.
So you guys first off know we got the Khaos list, Khaos conversation, and the rule of 3, which you're watching now. So make sure you check all that out. We do some great shows on there. We got the roundtable this Sunday. This will be the final one for the What If roundtable. That should be an interesting one. Holy shit. And later on, we got the OOC. Going to be discussing the R. Kelly conviction. Yeah, and actually a video that I seen on Facebook. It's going to be a controversial one, guys. So make sure you check that one out, definitely. And it was a great show, Chris. Thanks for having me again.
All right. And then Danny, go ahead and tell them about yourself and what you've been up to and about your show.
I am Danny, aka Comet Chat, on Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find all of us on our shows on our respective nights. First up the bat on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Then Nzo comes in on Tuesdays, and of course tonight, Wednesday night, it's Chris Show Rule of 3. Tomorrow night, I think we will be competing on what's the name of the show again?
The Rumble.
The Rumble. I sent in a couple of questions. I think Nzo and I think all the contestants sends in questions. It's been a minute since I've been on there. Probably 6 or 8 months, maybe even longer. I don't know.
I think it was right around Christmas or the first of the year.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've been on there, so I may be a little rusty, but I'm planning on having a good time. So if you're not doing anything tomorrow, that's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
8 p.m. Eastern Time. Yep. On the Real Review 3000, but I'll talk about that here. Go ahead, finish up.
Also, Sunday, like Nzo said, will be our final show of the roundtable. Episode I thought was good to go, but of course, I'm hearing that that's not going to be the case. And Saturdays, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, somewhere between 4 and 5, we have Square One, where we talk NFL, NBA, a little boxing, sometimes a little other stuff, depending on if we deem it talk worthy, I guess, is what we're going to list that as. But if you're not doing anything on Saturday afternoons, check us out. It's me, Chris, Nzo, Roberto. We're discussing the current landscape of the NFL and the NBA. So thank you for inviting me. Here's the name of the show, Square One. So make sure y'all check that out.
Yes, indeed. Do that. Like Danny said, tomorrow night on my channel, The Real Review 3000, is The Rumble, where Nzo is the first official grand champion from last season. This will be wrapping up season number 2, and then we'll get to our grand champion tournament to find the next grand champion. Once we get 4 of those people together, Nzo claims he's going to get in there and wipe the floor with all of them. But we'll see. Because it's a little different now, because we got judges, we got all sorts of other stuff. But guys, come check that out. That's tomorrow night on my channel, The Real Review 3000, and that is at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or Eastern time, 7 p.m. Central time, and 5 p.m. Pacific time. So guys, check that out. Make sure you come by there. We got 4 people. That's Elihu, LEG, Pop Culture Minefield, and Danny. So one new person. Elihu's I think he's finally gonna be able to stay on for a whole stream. LEG, who's trying to break through to the championship round, and Danny, I guess I'd say the dark horse. I don't mean it in the way that sounds.
I got you.
But Danny's a smart man, and Danny's got some good opinions, and I think that judges are going to like that because they got 2 absolutely impartial judges and 1 mostly impartial judge. So there should be no conspiring against anybody or anything. So it should be really fun. Check that out, guys. With that said, I'm Chris Knight. This has been the Rule of 3, guys. And as Nzo likes to say, peace.
Peace.